Good morning, guys. How are you? It's a beautiful Saturday morning here in Pennsylvania, and I'm just relaxing on the back porch. Probably not going to do any chopping, too hot for that. But I did want to follow up, at least briefly, the video on the timber sports versus practical chopping, because I think I was misunderstood a little bit, and I want to address some of those points. So let's do that right now. So first of all, right out of the gate, I want to say that disagreement is good. If we all agreed, the world would be boring and we would have no progress. I'm likely to change my mind on some of these things, and I know that because looking back, I don't agree with old Kevin, and future Kevin is likely to disagree with present Kevin, and that just means that you're maturing. I always say a mark of maturity is the fact that you can change your mind as you collect new information.
Hey, reliefers. I call the Redwing Blackbirds reliefers because they're tearing up the feeders all the time. They seem to depend on it. Go find your own food, eh?
So one of the major points of disagreement, I think, is actually just a misunderstanding. I was not suggesting that timber sports only cares about power and speed. They care about accuracy more than anything else. Safety too, but accuracy is what makes you a better, faster chopper. I just thought that was a given. What I was suggesting is that speed is the hallmark of a good timber sports athlete. It's a competition that happens over a very short period of time. Whereas, in contradistinction to timber sports, practical axemanship or woodland work with an axe happens over a much longer period of time. Used to be 8-10-hour workdays. That's what my jumping off point was. And just to reiterate that, some of those guys are so dang accurate when they take their time, the block looks like glass when they're done. That said, just to be crystal clear about this, timber sports is about speed over short distances, whereas cordwood work is about efficiency of movement or economy of work over the workday, over a much longer period of time. And I think that is not quite the same thing and probably requires a different technique and a different axe. Let's talk about the axe. So this is the point where me and Matt probably disagree the most, and that's okay. But it's on the point of the weight of an efficient axe. Now, when I said that heavy heads don't have their place in practical axe work, I mean heads over 4 pounds. 3.5, 4-pound heads absolutely are great for bucking and splitting larger wood. And if it means anything to you, Ben just made a video on the inefficiency of heavy axes for just this. But you don't have to take our word for it. Let me read you a passage from Dudley Cook's The Axe Book, the Bible of the cordwood community here. So Matt brought up the valid point that the axe should fit your body type, and I think that's absolutely true. He also said that you should select an axe for the tree, not a tree for an axe, and I think that's also absolutely true. But let me just read you this passage here from Cook. So Cook is a young kid in this passage, and he's working for a maintenance guy who's a big burly type. And this is how it goes. At 17, I was still skinny, but implying that I was not strong enough for my 4-pound axe nettled me. So the guy just suggests he should use a lighter axe. "Oh, this is just right for me," I said. I might have saved my breath. "Your handle should be shorter," he said. "In limbing, there's no room for a long handle. And for you, your axe probably shouldn't weigh over 3 pounds. Now, he's probably talking to somebody like me. Seeing the look that must have been on my face, he asked, "How much do you think mine weighs?" I had wondered about that. He had told me it was a Snow and Neely axe from Bangor, Maine. Its shape was different from my axe, and judging its weight was difficult. From the cuts he made, maybe his axe weighed 10 pounds for all that I knew. "I don't know," I said. 3.75 pounds. If I were to swing this axe all day, it would be all I'd want." So this big burly guy is satisfied with a 3.75 pound axe, and I think that's about right. I think that's all you would want if you were doing this work all day long. That's all I was trying to say. Now, as far as technique goes, I'm just going to shut up and enjoy my day off in the sun here because I don't know how to do the long-armed technique properly. But that was my point, is that it's not easy, and I was aiming that towards beginners. And without a teacher, I think it's actually hard to learn properly. And when I see a lot of guys claiming that they're swinging with a long-armed approach, I don't think they are. I think they're misunderstanding it to mean that you're striking the wood with your arms straight. And that's not my understanding of it. My understanding is that you're throwing the axe out at the top of your swing and then pulling it back heel first into the wood. So I'm just going to shut up now and relax. Oh, one more thing though, and this one kind of irked me. So I got a comment that said that Timber Sports teaches us or taught us how to swing an axe properly or correctly and how to grind an axe. First of all, I don't subscribe to the proper way of doing anything. And I think we should all admit that without Skill Cult teaching us how to grind an axe with a file correctly or properly, none of us would be chopping very efficiently. At the very least, he introduced us to Dudley Cook, who taught us how to do that. And I've not seen a Timber Sports guy or a tutorial video online of how to grind a racing axe without using a jig. So I just don't see how that applies to practical axemanship. All right, guys, that's it for me. I just wanted to thank you for keeping the conversation civil, and please keep the conversation going down in the doobly-doo below. As for me, I'm going to enjoy the rest of the day in the sun, reading, drinking some wine, and reading a good book. Until then, I'll see you on the next one.